From our Main Street newsroom, this is 2 News Live at 3:30.
Brian Schnee with you on this Friday afternoon here on 2 News Live at 3:30. Thank you for joining us. We're following that breaking news out of Midvale. We've been following this through the course of
They found smoke
absolutely
on the
ripped
fourth floor,
through a relatively new build apartment complex, and we're
operation.
hearing from Unified Fire Authority that's briefing the media right now at Hillcrest High School. Take a listen.
Grow and fully consuming the roof and that fourth story. So initially we did start with offensive operations, but since then we have transitioned into defensive operations. We currently have departments from 8 different agencies at this point. It did displace 223 units in the residence. In operations defensively will probably continue into the night.
Hello from the Unified Police Department. We have had approximately 15 officers that have been out here throughout this incident, conducting traffic control, trying to keep the area clear so our firefighter brothers and sisters can continue to fight this fire here behind us. We're going to continue to be out here throughout the day, maintaining this traffic control. We're pulling in resources from our other precincts to be here to not only do the traffic control, but as things start to wind down, we'll be here to secure the scene and make sure that the property is protected throughout the night and into tomorrow as this progresses. We are grateful for the help that we've received from our neighboring jurisdictions. The one thing that we would just ask of the community is to avoid this area. We've had a lot of people that have been trying to drive in here to look at it, people walking up on foot. Obviously this is a very active scene, and we would just ask that everybody please avoid this area and stay away. Thank you.
Hi, Midvale Mayor Dustin Gettle. I just wanted to say, number one, the fire that we've experienced here today is a tragedy for our community. There are hundreds of people who are displaced by this fire, but one of the great things is there's been such an outpouring of support throughout the community. I've heard from other mayors throughout the valley. I've heard from business owners. We're getting dozens and dozens of text messages of people who really want to help out. So we have an email address that we would like people to, if you're a business especially, we're looking at hotels, we're looking at grocery stores who could provide any assistance, any vouchers, thrift shops for clothing, blankets, anything like that. We have a dedicated email address at the city. It's recovery@midvaleut.gov, and we'd ask if you're a business with any of those philanthropic ideas, we would really welcome you to email that. You can certainly call us as well, but we're getting so many inquiries about how businesses and community members can help. We're trying to get people to email that address specifically. So I do want to thank the Unified Fire Authority and the Unified Police Department for all the emergency services here today. Again, this is a tragedy for the folks who live back here, but we at the city are doing everything that we can, everything possible to fill the gaps and find housing solutions for the folks displaced today. Thank you.
Nate, can you speak a little bit to just the size of this fire? It's been burning for 7-8 hours, and just the difficulties that firefighters have faced. And
yeah.
Also, do you have any idea about a cause at this point?
So we don't have any cause at this time. We do have investigators on scene, but with firefighter operations going on, it's really hard to determine a cause at this time. And a building of this size creates a lot of different problems, not only from access into the building, all the many different units, but it also creates some water supply issues. All these hydrants are operating off of the same grid, so all of these fire engines are using that same hydrant as well. So it's just a lot of different challenges, especially with the heat out here as well.
And then you said 223 units, but is it my understanding 220 were occupied, 3 were not?
Correct, 220 were occupied.
Do you know now if it was a total loss of the building?
That's way too early for us to determine at this point.
And the top of the building is the one that is more affected by the fire?
Correct, yeah, the fire does seem, at least from the outside, to be more affected by the top floors as well. We currently don't have crews in there right now. It's unsafe for them to be in there. So as far as the lower units, how much they've been affected, we don't know at this time.
So right now there is a probability of collapse?
There is always that possibility, especially with the large amounts of water that we're using in the building.
It's safe to say no one's getting in anytime soon to retrieve anything or get back inside.
I don't think so.
According to county records, this building was built back in 2022. How does a building that's a modern building like this catch fire like this?
Yeah, it's really hard to say because we don't know what the cause at this time, but old or new, buildings can catch fire. Yeah, it's really hard to say.
That's what a lot of you are talking about on social media about this. It's a newer build, had 220 occupied units. I want to emphasize recovery at midvaleut.gov. If you're a local business and you want to help out, there will be a lot of people that could use some assistance. We'll continue to follow this, of course, as we hear from more official briefings, and we'll continue to follow it right now here on 2 News Live. You are hearing that briefing from Hillcrest High School, which is right up the street from this building. Liv Kelleher is right outside of the building. Still an active firefight. We've been able to see this from a ways away on a UDOT camera. But Liv, how do things look from your perspective right now? What have you been hearing from people around this area? You've been out there all day since about 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, it has been an intense day out here. The smoke has been incredibly intense. It's actually not as bad right now as it was earlier. Things are starting to be a bit more contained. Earlier in the day, there was very active flames. However, this is still an active scene. Like you heard, firefighters actually in the ground inside. But they're fighting this from multiple ladders. At most, there were, I think, 6 ladders at the peak here. You can see that they're attacking from above. Most of the fire is in that top floor of residence, but they did tell me that they are putting a lot of water into the building, and if you are on a lower floor, they haven't been able to assess damage, but there's a really good likelihood that there is at least water damage. We actually spoke with someone earlier today, Brian, who lives in this unit right there. It's not the top one, it's the one right below that on the 3rd floor. And he just said, you know, I've just been seeing water pouring in my apartment right now. He didn't see flames, but, you know, still damage, still something that they're going to have to recover from, and still a lot of work to be done, Brian.
Liv Kelleher reporting live for us from Midvale this afternoon on 2 News Live. Liv, thank you very much. It's not just the fire, but it is the water. It is everything else that goes into this, the smoke damage, you name it. It is a massive property. Again, 220 occupied units there at that North Union apartment complex. Obviously, this is what we are looking at here in the content center as well. We have a lot of great video to show you, but a lot of different angles at this. Aubrey, what do we have?
Yeah, we have a lot of content here, Brian. I would specifically point you to this one video here on YouTube. It's the raw video, 9 minutes of it, of this fire. So if I scroll through here for a minute, you can see all sorts of different angles. Some of them are just really devastating to see the extent of the damage in this building. Now, we know hundreds of people are, you know, displaced or impacted in some other way by this fire, and we have all of those updates up on our website, so I would keep tuned and check our site, check our social media for anything.
Yeah, we've been on top of this since the very early hours of this, and you know, you think, well, a lot of the times we're able to get out there and fire crews are able to make quick work of a situation. Not with a building like this. I mean, you heard from fire crews saying defensive, because this is extremely dangerous. Something we were following overnight here, this plane crash that a lot of people have been looking at on KUTV.com.
Yeah, so we have obviously all of this fire content, but we do have a lot of other stories that are really important to multiple communities. This one happened in Layton, and we believe the plane flew out of Ogden. So we have 2 different communities here who might be interested. This is a plane crash, small plane crash, that impacted 2 people. They were injured, but fortunately, they're stable.
Aubrey, thank you very much. A lot to see on our website, KUTV.com, also on our YouTube page. That is always where we can be checking things out. And as always, you can see all of the breaking news alerts on our YouTube page. Grab your phone right now, scan that QR code if you would like to join in, and subscribe, of course, to our YouTube platform, which is at KUTV 2 News. Now to an update to a story we brought you yesterday right here on 2 News Live at 3:30. The federal government has proposed 6 options now to manage water use from the Colorado River. This has big impacts for us here in Utah. We have a live look for you from the river right now, Glenwood Springs, Colorado. The proposal from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation spares Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Wyoming from facing some mandatory cuts for now. Samantha Hoffman has been following this story for us for not just the last few days, but really over the last few months, and she has an update for us.
A long-awaited plan for managing Lake Powell and the Colorado River is in the works. The 7 basin states couldn't reach an agreement, so the federal government is stepping in by reviewing 6 potential plans released today on how to manage the critically low water levels. They're required by law to spend at least 30 days going through this document, but there is a preferred alternative plan, and that's the recommendation that is most likely to be implemented. The preferred alternative could act more fluid than our current management plan. It would be a 10-year adaptive plan that's an annual operating budget depending on storage, snowpack, reservoir conditions, and infrastructure demand. It outlines potential actions that could be requested on a biannual basis depending on the needs of the reservoirs and constituents. So some of these could be annual releases from Lake Powell, storage of conserved water in Lake Powell, cuts to lower basin states, voluntary upper basin conservation measures, and releases from upstream reservoirs including Flaming Gorge, Blue Mesa, and Navajo. I spoke with the Colorado River Authority in Utah, and they stressed they think it is important that the lower basin states have cuts, as the upper basin already experiences natural cuts from lowered snowfall. They also had some concerns about the releases from upstream reservoirs, and they said they're going to need the next month to go through the document and ensure it is in the best interest of the state.
Samantha Hoffman been all over this. Stay with 2 News as we continue to follow this developing story, the decisions made in the following days and weeks. In the meantime, head to our YouTube page to see all of our past reports on water usage from the impacts here being felt at Lake Powell and for Lake Mead. Coming up here on 2 News Live, we will have a live conversation about the video that was shared by Salt Lake City Police, really seen all around the world, how officers are trained to respond to calls involving people in crisis. We will hear from Salt Lake City PD next. We're back here on 2 News Live at 3:30. As always, we are listening to what you are saying and seeing on social media. Boy, a lot of you have seen this, not just here in Utah, but all over the world. I mean, you use the term viral. This video has gone viral for all the right educational reasons. It's really inspiring to see. So every call for law enforcement, of course, has a story. The recent video from Salt Lake City Police shows a child with autism in crisis, and that has received that worldwide attention for how this was handled. And also, I think it's very eye-opening to a lot of people. Officers responded to what was reported as an assault involving an elderly woman, and within moments of arriving, they recognized they were witnessing something pretty different here, something that was actually a child with autism who was in crisis. And because of their training, they immediately adjusted the approach. You could see it here play out on the video, and worked to calmly de-escalate while also ensuring everyone remains safe. Requires some training. A lot of the comments on the video discussing the officer's training and the ability to adapt in the middle of responding to a call happening in real time. You see some of the comments out there. You know, it even says it would be great if every officer in every department could receive the training needed to be able to, recognize the need for this in the moment. And I do know from talking to law enforcement officers for many, many years, they do have a lot of training at their hands, and this is something that they work on almost yearly. Fortunate to have Officer Jason Johnson from Salt Lake City Police here to discuss this situation, and also we'll get to the bag in just a moment. But
right.
I mean, this is a great example of how no 2 calls are the same.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it sounds like you do respond to calls like this quite often.
Right. Yeah. Almost 174 calls just in the past year. So almost every other day on average that we receive calls involving somebody with autism.
How do you adapt so quickly in a call like that to know it is not maybe what was the first report,
right.
but once you get your eyes on scene or able to feel out the situation quickly, you see it's deeper than that?
Well, we've benefited from really good community partners who have helped us with some training. We receive annual training on how to help people in this type of situation. So that's been a huge asset for us. And so between the training and then some of the tools that they provided us, we're able to get this kind of a positive result.
How has that training evolved over time?
We receive annual training, and it evolves. It shows us what to expect. So it helps us identify behaviors and then maybe ways that we can intervene when we recognize the behaviors and what tools we can use when we see those behaviors.
Before we take a look at the kid, I mean, does it feel good to know that this has reached a lot of people that may have never seen this happen before and may have never seen the tender love and care, honestly, that is provided to somebody in this situation?
Yes, it does. And we're actually receiving calls from agencies across the country asking us about where we got our training, where we're getting these kits. And so we're able to share that with agencies across the across the nation.
Let's take a look at the kits here.
Okay.
What do you have here, and what is in this bag, and how many people carry these?
So every patrol officer has these kits available to them, and they can carry them in their cars. We have cards here. So we encounter a lot of people that are nonverbal, and these have photos on them that allow us to just point, and we can communicate with nonverbal individuals as well. And then
I don't know if you want me to hold some things for you.
Sure.
There you
That'd
go.
be great. And then a lot of times because of the sensory sensitivities, we have tools to kind of help minimize some of the sensory issues. So earmuffs to reduce noise, and we've got a lot of things like cotton, anything that's tactile that can help somebody who's in crisis, kind of just use their tactile senses to reduce that level of stress.
Anything else you hope, well, we only have about 30 seconds, but anything else you hope people take away from seeing that and also hearing us talk about this and seeing how you're prepared for a situation like this?
We're there to help, so don't hesitate to call. We really do want to help. And I know that there's a lot of fear out there because of some of the past experiences and stuff, but this training has really helped improve how we respond, and I think it's just getting better with time. So I think that's going to be just important. If you need help, call.
Yeah, have that dialogue.
Yes.
It's important.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming in
Thanks.
and showing us that, but also taking us through that video here in a real world situation that you go through almost every other day.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
As always, we are listening to what you are saying here on social media. A couple more things that we are talking about, listening to the concerns about some water usage at public parks. Someone posted in a community group why watering public parks and why some cities are choosing to leave the grass brown. Well, I think we know some of the answers. It's because we are overusing a lot of the water that we in reality don't have. This post came from a social media group in Kearns, and many commenters disagreed, saying we need to conserve water overall. Taking a live look from Kearns right now, they're on the west side of the valley. Current guidelines for residents watering up to about twice a week from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., that's the best. Overnight hours, that's when your yard really can soak it in, if you will. Public park watering in Kearns following the county park and rec sort of standard. So if you see water being wasted in Kearns, like you do any city right now, we know you're watching for it. You can always report it to the city directly as they try to go out and take care of every single sprinkler head. We had this in Ogden last week. Taking a look at another topic that you are talking about here, and this is something we were hoping to bring you yesterday, but we ran a little bit long. People in Hurricane talking about ant struggles. I had this at my house. I don't live in Hurricane. I'm up here in northern Utah. Even if you spray regularly for the pests and everything else, these ants can still find a way back in. Temperature obviously has that. Maybe you dropped the ice cream cone one night when you were taking your kids out for the after dinner walk or something. But some are calling it a normal problem for Hurricane. I think it obviously varies statewide where your climate falls and everything else. But the original poster saying that it is an ongoing struggle and says, quote, it is a nightmare. So what are some of the things you can do about this? You can wipe with vinegar. That's an easy tip. You can block those tiny cracks there that would lead maybe up your driveway into your home, that sort of thing. And then remove the food sources. That's easy, right? Because at the end of the day, they're hungry. Just like the bigger animals, the colony wants to get after it too. As always, we are listening to what you are saying on social media. 2 News listens every single day here. 2 News live at 3:30 in the afternoon. We're checking the Facebook and the Instagram platforms and Reddit. A lot of you get chatty in the threads on Reddit. We see what you're saying. We try to talk about them here on the show every day at 3:30 and bring those comments and questions right here to give you a little bit more context and insight every afternoon at 3:30.
Back to school supplies and snacks. Brought to you by Smith's, Cypress Credit Union, Balance of Nature, Mountain Home Services, and Nelson Jones.
Well, it's that time of year again. Back to school. The kids are so excited, and the parents are probably loving it even more. KUTV is teaming up to collect those essential school supplies and snacks for classrooms all across the state from now until the end of August. We would love for your help supporting educators and students by donating to our Back to School Supplies and Snacks Drive. You can scan that QR code on your screen. I will stall a minute so you can get that phone out of your pocket and do so. Scan that QR code on your screen. It takes you to the website where you need to go to make that online donation. You can also donate if you're old school here. Why not? Cypress Credit Union branches all across the state. You can donate there.